Thank you for that. Someone's unable to join due to internet issues. Hamishta says hello to everybody. Okay, so you can see the chats coming in, and then you can add your chat. There's Nirma there looking very cozy in a big, it looks like a white, I don't know what it looks like, but it's lovely and warm looking anyway, Nirma. So you can chat with us about that. So listen, let's just test it out for the new people. So if anybody that hasn't done this course before, because this is I think it's our 10th course. So just type in new in the chat box and just press return then. And then we can see who's, okay, so there's Mary O'Connell already new. Okay, lots of new people. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, lots of new people coming on. So let me just see if any of the doctors are on. They probably won't be on yet, but probably a little bit early for the doctors. So anyway, so lots of new people. Lisa Hatton, Mia, Caroline, all new people. So that's great. So that's how you communicate with us. That's how you ask questions. Probably better not to ask questions when the video is going on. You can ask questions afterwards, and then we have a Q&A session after the video is over. So the way the course works is there's a video on a particular topic. It's kind of an introduction to Ayurveda this evening. And then after that, there'll be a Q&A with our doctors. So we have Dr. Brennan, Dr. Rajvinder, and possibly Dr. Naheed. She's gone back to India, but she may connect with us. She's just gone back to India for a while, but she if it's the middle of the night over there, but she still may connect with us, you know. So let's see. Okay, so just testing this again. Why don't you stick in where you're from into the chat box? Just stick in Ireland, whatever county you're in or whatever country you're in, and we'll just see. We normally have people from all over the world. So we've got Edinburgh there anyway, so that's great. We got Mead from Michael Doherty. Good man, Michael. An American in Prague. Oh, very nice. It was in Prague a few years back. Great place. Suffolk, Tremor, Curry, Portugal. Alice Haya from Portugal. Oxford, lots of UK people. There's always lots of people from the UK. Dr. Brennan worked in the UK for about 20 years, so he built up a lot of connections there. Italy, okay, Angelina. Hiya, Angelina, welcome along. And Bristol, Nirma is from Bristol. Okay, and West Cork. Okay, so we have a good variety of people. And there's Regina. I thought I recognized that place. Hiya, Regina. Can't see you on my screen, but you're there somewhere anyway. Sinead in Galway. Tyrone, welcome from Tyrone. Okay, sorry, I got my time wrong. Bernie Whelan, sounds fine now. Yeah, okay, Bernie, that's great. There's no problem. I'm not sure if, let's see. Okay, so no doctors on just yet, so they'll probably be on in a minute or two. Fifth time doing the course, love it, that's great. New and super excited. Bansi, that's great, Bansi, welcome along. It's great to have new people joining us. We've had many people do the course 7 and 8 times, but it's always great to get new people as well. But it's always great to repeat it, because the more you listen to it, the more it goes in, you know. So someone from Drogheda, which is where I am right now, so that's Leva Lacoute. I hope I have that pronunciation right, from Drogheda. So Leva, I'm in Drogheda as well. I'm on Scarlet Street, so I'm probably not very far away from you. Janice from Wexford. Okay, 10 new messages. 7th time, couldn't wait for today. So Sonia, that's great, Sonia. Welcome to have you back. 7th heaven, as they say. 7th time lucky. From Leash, my 6th or 7th time, Francis. Far and away in Dublin. Hiya, Anna. I haven't seen you in a while, Anna, even though you've probably been on all the calls. But anyway, good to have you back. From Prague, and taking the course for the 2nd time. That's Elena. Hey, Elena, how you doing? I sent you something in the post today. So that went out today. So hopefully you'll have it. I hope you'll have it before that particular course starts. Okay. Okay, I'm not so sure why the doctors aren't on. They're normally on a little bit earlier than that. Greetings from Galway. I'm a serial participant. Tamara, 11th timer, and looking forward to it. Maybe it is our 11th course. I thought it was only our 10th course, but maybe it's our 11th. Chloe from France. Okay, that's great, Chloe. Welcome along. And Carmel and Dermot from Dublin. Welcome along, Carmel and Dermot. So tonight we're just going to do an introduction to the topic, and some of the doctors are going to talk about what they feel is the most important thing you can take away from this particular course. So we have 3 doctors, and like everything, they all have their own particular take on Ayurveda. So yeah, they're going to talk about what you can take away from it. Just on a practical level, what I always say to people is, it's a huge topic, Ayurveda. It's an enormous topic of information, you know, and we shouldn't stress out trying to learn it all immediately, or we shouldn't stress out at all about this. Basically, just listen and just take it in, and all of the information will be repeated. And repetition is the key. Repetition is the way to learn anything, okay? Because what happens is the brain cells begin to connect, and the more you repeat and the more you hear, then it just goes in without any stress or strain, and we shouldn't be causing any stress or strain. So just listen very easily, and if you don't understand something, don't worry about it, because it'll be repeated again, and there's going to be a lot of new terms like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Ojas, Dhatus, all of these things, but don't worry about it. By the end of the 6 lessons, you'll have a good understanding of all of those different things, you know. So that's hello from Sweden. Bjorg, hiya Bjorg, welcome along. And Sinead is County Galway, and Chandrika is in London, and Sharon O'Donoghue is here again. Hiya Sharon. Sharon is a regular. There's Rajvinder Kaur, so we'll ask Rajvinder to unmute herself. Hi Dr. Raj.
Hello everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, yeah. So we have 271 people on. I'm just seeing they're from all over. A lot of regulars are back again, so that's always great to see. And lots
Anna's back. Anna's back.
Lots of new people as well, so it's always great to see new people.
Oh, I see Rowena here today. Hi, Rowena.
Yeah, Rowena's there, yeah. And Tula is there from Sweden as well.
Oh, Brita is there, yeah. Lovely.
And Tula from Sweden is there as well. And from North Belfast, Peter Sumat. Hiya, Peter. Welcome along. And hello from Kenya and the iPad. I don't have a name. I'm sure iPad is not your name. But anyway, are you actually in Kenya? So that'd be very interesting if you were. Not too sure what time of the night or day it would be in Kenya, but maybe you could let us know. And hello from India is Nahid. Nahid is one of our doctors. So let's invite her on. Hi, Dr. Nahid.
Hi, Noel. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Dr. Rajvinder?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks a million for coming along. What time have you got there in India?
So because of the daylight saving, it's now 12 o'clock.
Oh, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. It used to be 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So 12 o'clock. It's still past your Ayurvedic bedtime, but you're anyway. Okay, so let's see. Is Dr. Brennan? Oh, Dr. Brennan is on. We have everybody here now. Hiya, Don.
Hiya, Noel. Hiya, Raj. Hiya, Nahid.
Hello, Dr. Van.
Nahid, it's lovely to see you looking very fresh at midnight.
Oh, thank you.
How are you, Don?
I'm good, Noel. Thank you very much. Good. You're looking better now for your fast.
For my fasting, yeah. Feeling better as well. Feeling better. So someone there from Sligo I just saw. Who was from Sligo? People from India, people from Kenya, Joanne from the Lebanon. So we've good. And Anya Niscanlon from Sligo.
London, Limerick.
Or Ania, I think. Sorry, Ania. Welcome along.
London, Limerick, Leicester, Wales.
Okay.
Welcome, Wales.
Rick Mansworth. I never heard of it. Possibly in the UK, I would imagine. Rick Gita Kotari. So welcome along, Gita. And iPhone Tracy is from Wexford.
And lovely to see Nahid. I hope you've been healthy and full of hope and life. There's a nice one.
Great.
Who was that from?
Oh God, I missed it. What did I see?
Anna.
What did I see? From Anna Carey.
Oh, Anna. Okay. And there's someone in Italy there, ENGIT, Sharia Caselli. So welcome along from Italy. And ladies with a G's call.
I think that's engineer, probably.
Oh, yeah, probably is. Yeah, I'm sure that's not their name, all right. Yeah.
Engineer IT, Chiara.
Okay, so we've 327 people on the call now. So I'll just go back over some of the things I said, because maybe some people are new to Zoom. So you have 2 options in Zoom. You have a gallery view or you have a speaker view. And for the lectures, speaker view is the best, because with there's one of Rowena's children there popping up. So with the with the gallery view, you're going to see lots of small little pictures, which is not necessary when you're listening to the lecture. So how you change that is bring your mouse up to the top right of your screen and you'll see a little button called view. Click on that and pick speaker view. And then what will happen is that the speaker will be highlighted. And that's really what you want, because you'll see it properly then when the video starts, you know. And then for talking to us or for asking questions, we're all muted, or you're all muted, because obviously we couldn't have everybody unmuted. So you go down to chat. There's a chat box down the bottom of the screen, and you just click on the chat, and then you can type in your questions or type in where you're from, or say hello to your friends or whatever, just by typing into the chat. Probably better off while the video is playing not to have too much chat going on. Just listen to the video, and then when the video is over, you can start putting your questions in, you know. And one thing I would ask everybody, there's Elizabeth from Italy as well, from Milan. So Elisabetta, so welcome along, Elisabetta. That's a good few people from Italy. So I think it's Ireland, the UK, followed by Italy at this
This
stage.
is Italy course now.
Roxana from Mexico. Hola, Roxana.
Italy are great for
Bienvenido.
Ayurveda. They're great for Ayurveda. They actually had, with Maharishi Ayurveda products, they actually had people going around to the GPs, to the doctors who were interested. So they're slightly ahead of us, I think.
They're one of the most successful countries in Europe for the sale of Ayurvedic products, Italy. They have, I know the guy that runs the Maharishi Ayurveda company over there, and they go to GPs and they say these herbs are beneficial for blood pressure or whatever. Here's the research. And then the actual doctors prescribe the herbs, which is absolutely fantastic.
That's great.
There's Elena from the Czech Republic. And okay, and Rajvinder Kaur is saying hi, Chitra. So
Chitra said hello team Ayurveda. So
I see that there, Chitra Josie. Yeah, hello Chitra. So one thing I just want to say to you, I always say this at the start. I get a lot of emails. I'll probably go and check email on my other computer now in a minute, and I'll have lots of people saying I didn't get the link, I didn't get the Zoom link, you know. So what I'd ask you to do is to add noel@ayurveda.ie, which is my email address. I'll just stick it into the chat box now. Add that to your contacts. Because the reality of the situation is that if you registered for the course, then you would have got the email with the link. But what happens is because it's going out to so many people, is that different systems treat it differently. And sometimes they'll put it into your spam folder. If you're using Gmail, it might put it into your promotions folder. And if you're using Hotmail or some other system, God knows where it'll put it. But you know, I haven't had a case where someone hasn't actually got the link, even though many people feel they haven't got it, you know. When they go looking for it, they find it. So if you add noel@ayurveda.ie to your contacts, then more than likely my emails will end up in your inbox, okay? But what you need to do is go searching for that email. So, you know, you can just search whatever way you search in Zoom link for Ayurveda meeting or something like that, and you'll more than likely find it. Now, I send the email on the morning of the course. So generally by 9 o'clock on the morning. So next Thursday by 9 o'clock, this link will have gone out. And if you haven't received it by 1 o'clock, or you can't find it, but that's a better way of putting it. If you can't find it by 1 o'clock, by all means, send me an email and I'll send it to you. But you're better off not leaving it to the last minute, because if you leave it to the last minute, I'm obviously on hosting this and talking, so I can't be sending out Zoom links at the same time, you know. But the chances are, if you registered with and you spelled your email address correctly, then you got the link. So just take a look around and see if you can find it, you know. So let's see, time is moving on. We've 361 people on. So are we happy to get started with our first lecture?
Just wondering, Noel, if it's wise to turn off video cameras.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we did have an experience the last time, but we did have a few more people on where the quality of the video seemed to go down a little bit. And what we asked people to do was switch off their video while the video, the recording was playing, and then you can switch it back on later on. So maybe when I start our video, as I said, this course consists of a video that's been pre-recorded that we play on a particular topic, then followed by a Q&A. But maybe for when we start playing the video, the pre-recorded video, we'll ask people to switch off their video. Just switch off their camera. Obviously you can still see the video that's been playing, but just switch off your camera, and it seems to have an effect on the quality of the thing, you know. So I think really we should get started because time is moving on. We're coming up to 364 people. So is everybody happy? Rajvinder, are you happy to go ahead? Oh, she's gone. They're all gone. Okay. Okay, Don, you're happy to go?
Happy as the day is long.
Okay, so we'll go with lesson 1. So this is the pre-recorded section of it, and we'll just start the video, and then this lasts for, I think, about 48 minutes, and then we'll be back to you all. So you can switch off your cameras now if you like. My name is Noel O'Neill, and I'm a director of the Ayurveda Centre in Ireland, and I'd just like to welcome you to this 6-lesson Ayurveda course. So what we're going to do here is we're going to give an overview of the course, an introduction to what we'll be covering in the course, and then we'll introduce you to our great doctors that are going to facilitate the course. So I'm appreciative of the fact that some of you may be completely new to Ayurveda. There's probably some people who have done courses with us before on this, but I'm sure there are some people who have no notion of what Ayurveda is. So I'll explain a little bit about Ayurveda before we get started. So Ayurveda is made up of 2 words, Aryu, which means lifespan, and Veda, which means knowledge. So Ayurveda means the knowledge of lifespan. And Ayurveda is the oldest traditional system of healthcare in the world. Well, it's reckoned to be the oldest traditional system of healthcare in the world. Its roots go back thousands upon thousands of years. There are many ancient scriptures that detail all the different modalities of Ayurveda that are there, and we'll be talking about them during the course. Its roots are in India and Asia, and it's still used by millions of people in the East as their main system of healthcare, and it's gaining huge traction in the West as well. So basically, what is it? What way does it look at health? How does it look at disease and ill health? Well, fundamentally, it looks at health in terms of balance, and ill health in terms of imbalance. Okay, so it sees that when things are in balance in the body, then people are happy, they're contented, and they have good health and long life. But when things go out of balance, which we're going to talk about a lot, then this causes problems. So what Ayurveda is always trying to do is to discover, well, what is the person doing, or what lifestyle are they adopting that's making things go out of balance, and what can they do to help bring the system back into balance. But the overall worldview of Ayurveda is that at the fundamental level of life, of our existence, there is a field of pure consciousness from where everything comes from. And this field of pure consciousness has many different names. And one of the names that people use for it is being, the field of being. And being is existence or pure consciousness. And we are, after all, what we call ourselves human beings. So we are the expression of that intelligence in the form of an individual physiology, in an individual person. We express that intelligence in the form of an individual. So that's the fundamental basics of the life view of Ayurveda, that this field of consciousness underlies everything. It doesn't just underlie me and you, it underlies everything that's in the creation, whether it's animate or inanimate. We just happen to express it in our human nervous system. But this field of consciousness is beyond thought, it's beyond space, it's beyond time, it correlates very well with what modern physicists would call the unified field theory of life as well, but we can go into that a little bit more later on. But anyway, this field of consciousness, this field of unity expresses itself. And it expresses itself through diversity, through all the diverse things that are there. If you think about it, we live in a universe. That's what we live in, okay? So what does the word universe mean? Well, the word universe means unity of diversity. Now, diversity is obvious. I'm different than you. The computer is different than the table. Black is different than red. In actual fact, if we look out with our senses at the world, we would think that it's just diversity, that there's no unity, that everything is separated from everything else, and that it's just a world of beautiful diversity. And from the point of view of the senses, that would be true. But this underlying field of unity is there. So what is this unity that they talk about, okay? So again, that comes back to being the field of being. And this field of consciousness expresses itself in all this diversity. And it, at its basic fundamental level, it expresses itself through 5 different elements, 5 different material things that make up the material universe. And they are earth, air, fire, water, and space. Earth, air, fire, water, and space. So everything in the universe is made up of these elements. And everything is a mixture. Well, sometimes you can have just pure water or you can have pure fire, but generally things are a mixture of these things. And what Ayurveda does is it categorizes these mixtures in people into 3 what they call doshas. And these 3 doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are 3 words that you're going to become very, very familiar with over this course. Now, Vata is made of air and space, and Pitta is made of fire and water, and Kapha is made of earth and water. And all of these elements exist inside every human being, but in different amounts, okay? So some people will have a lot of the fire element in them. They'll be very fiery people. They'll be what's called Pitta people. Some people will have more of the space element in them. They'll be very artistic. They'll be very thin and quick moving. And some people will have a lot of the Kapha element in them. They'll be heavier. They'll be slower moving. They'll have, heavier bone structure and, slow to pick things up, but retain things for a long time when they do pick them up. So an understanding of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha is fundamental to the understanding of Ayurveda, because I say we're all a mixture of these things. And actually our first 3 classes cover these 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Now, everybody has a unique nature. No 2 people are the same. And that's the great thing about Ayurveda. It's not just saying there's one thing suits everybody, because there isn't one thing suits everybody. Some foods may suit me because I'm a Pitta type, cooling foods, but they mightn't necessarily suit a Kapha person. Or some exercises might suit me, but other exercises may cause me to go out of balance and cause harm to me. And those exercises would be better for somebody else. So it's not one size fits all. It's a unique size for yourself. And understanding your own nature is a very, very important part of Ayurveda, because then you can understand the things that bring balance in your life and bring imbalance in your life. Because what you've got to remember, it's not only you that's made up of earth, air, fire, water, and space, but everything in the universe is made up of earth, air, fire, water, and space. So everything is either bringing balance or imbalance to you. And it's only through understanding our natures that we can decide the things that are good for us. Now, the very interesting thing is that in Ayurveda, all diseases, now think of the word disease. I'm sure you've seen this before, but it's 2 words, dis-ease, imbalance. All diseases are caused by an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. So everything from anxiety to insomnia to migraine to whatever you care to mention, it's looked at in terms of this imbalance. And so what Ayurveda is trying to do, it's trying to identify the imbalance. So if you're suffering from anxiety, Ayurveda is saying, okay, well, anxiety tends to be a Vata condition, too much air and space, too much movement. So is this person a Vata person to start with? What's aggravating their Vata? What are they doing that's causing this to happen? And what can they do to reverse it? So maybe the person needs to learn a meditation technique. Maybe a person needs to do oil massages. Maybe they need to take certain foods, certain warm, nourishing foods. Maybe they need to change their job or their lifestyle or something like that. So Ayurveda is looking at those things to see, well, what's causing these imbalances and what can we do to bring back the system back into balance. So living in tune with nature is how we have ideal health, is how we have perfect health. And as I say, all diseases are associated with imbalances in Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So you're going to learn all about this over the following 6 lessons. We're going to go greatly in depth to it. Before I introduce the doctors, I just want to do 1 or 2 things. I want to show you some places where you can do a little bit of homework. You can find out more about Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And I also want to show you a little video that I got from YouTube, that is where the director of the World Health Organization is talking about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So if you just bear with me for a second, there we are there. So we'll just play this little video.
Your Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, Namaste. Traditional systems of medicine such as Ayurveda can play an important role in integrated, people-centered health services and self-care, but they have not received enough attention. In a WHO report last year, 170 countries reported the use of traditional and complementary medicine, including Ayurveda. Earlier this week, I had the great honor of speaking with His Excellency Prime Minister Modi. I welcome the Prime Minister's strong commitment to universal health coverage through the Ayushman Bharat initiative and the use of evidence-based traditional and complementary medicine supported by the Ministry of Ayush. I'm pleased to announce that we have agreed to open a WHO Global Center on Traditional Medicine in India to strengthen the evidence, research, training, and awareness of traditional and complementary medicine. This new center will support WHO's efforts to implement the WHO Traditional Medicine Strategy 2014 to 2023, which aims to support countries in developing policies and action plans to strengthen the role of traditional medicine as part of their journey to universal health coverage and a healthier, safer, fairer world. Finally, I wish you a very happy Diwali. I thank you.
So that's the Director General of the World Health Organization talking about the Ayurveda. And I suppose Ayurveda was used quite widely in the treatment of COVID during the pandemic, and to what seemingly, anyway, it's very hard to tell with these things, but seemingly to very, very good results, you know. So actually we have some very nice videos on our YouTube channel, which I'm going to be showing you towards the end of the class. So, and I'm happy to say we have huge support for Ayurveda from the Indian Embassy in Ireland as well, and they're very keen to help us promote this knowledge around the country and even get it into the universities and even establish chairs in universities as well, you know. So I tell you what, I won't share our website with you yet. What we'll do is I'll introduce you to the doctors now, and the doctors can tell you about what they, you know, hope that you get from this course and what they feel are the most important things that you can take away from this course. And then I'll come back at the very end and I'll show you our website, because there's a huge resource of information on our website. I'll show you where our YouTube channel is, and I'll show you how you can access these lessons in case you happen to miss one, because, you know, life is busy. You might not always be able to be here every Tuesday and Thursday for 3 weeks, and you may miss a lesson, but don't worry about that, because we can catch up on those lessons later on. So there's no issue over that. I also want to say to you is that you're going to be introduced to a lot of new terminology here and a lot of new phrases, but the best way to learn things is through repetition. So don't stress or strain over trying to understand these too quickly. Just allow the knowledge to go in. Just listen and allow the knowledge to go in. And then what happens is it'll be repeated, or somebody will ask a question about it or something, and you'll hear it again and you'll hear it again. And after a while, you'll very quickly begin to recognize, you know, all these different words and how they relate to very practical things. And I want to say that even though talking about, you know, being and consciousness might seem impractical, Ayurveda is a very, very practical system of healthcare. You're going to get great advices here for your daily routine and for things that you can do to maintain very positive health, to maintain very strong immunity. And if unfortunately you are already in a situation where there is some disease or imbalance in your system, you'll get great knowledge that'll maybe help you to start reversing that and bringing your system back into balance. So the first of our doctors that I want to introduce you to is Dr. Don Brennan. Now, Dr. Don Brennan, I'm sure some of you are already aware of, because he's quite well known. So Dr. Brennan is a medical doctor. He trained in Ireland in medicine, practiced medicine in Ireland, worked in various hospitals in Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, and but more importantly, he's been involved in the field of Ayurveda for over 30 years now at this stage. So he's consulted with literally thousands upon thousands of people, and he's lectured widely, and he's appeared on the Late Late Show, he's appeared in the media, he's appeared on radios and doing newspaper articles. He is the founding president of the Ayurvedic Practitioners Association in the UK, which is quite a strong practitioners association over there. And so he's very well respected in the Ayurvedic community. I would have to say at this stage, he's probably one of the most knowledgeable Western-trained Ayurvedic doctors in the world at this stage, with the wealth of experience that he has. And it's absolutely fantastic. He now lives in Dublin, and I've worked with Dr. Brennan for the last 15 years or so. And it's great that he comes on, and you're going to see that he has a wealth of wisdom to share with everybody. So Dr. Brennan, I'm going to hand over to you, and maybe you might even want to give yourself a little introduction or whatever, or maybe you'd like to say what people can take away from this course and what you feel are the most important things that people will get from this course. So Dr. Brennan, we'll hand over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Noel, for that very comprehensive introduction to Ayurveda, and inspiring to see it's getting to the highest level of recognition now. I would like to just, as with each of us take one aspect that we feel is very important that we would like you to take away from this short course. And so these three things form a fundamental basis to a healthy life, and it just focuses your mind for the rest of the course, hopefully, to pick up on these three. And in order to introduce the particular fundamental that I'm going to talk about, I just want to bring you on a personal journey, because as a teenager, my real concern and interest and question was, why do people suffer? And I could see nowhere around me people who really didn't, nor any answer to the question that was profound. And so I thought to myself, well, the best field probably to find out would be medicine. And if medicine didn't know, at least I'd have 7 years more to think about it. So I ended up doing medicine and was shocked when I came to the end of the medical course to discover that medicine didn't know. It's not a fundamental situation where it has sorted out the reasons for suffering and ameliorates them. In fact, it turned out actually that the practice of medicine was more symptomatic based, trying to treat the anxiety or trying to treat the cancer, and very superficial in its approach, purely physical, mainly with surgery and medicines being the prime instrument. So that was shocking to me. But something had happened to me in the process of medical studies, which was that I had learned transcendental meditation and had witnessed in myself mood swings, which were quite disruptive at times, and increasing anxiety with the pressures of the medical course, just settled down. And I became, by the end of the medical course, quite a happy person. And I thought, well, there must be something here. So relatively soon after doing the medical training, I trained as a TM teacher. And then I was in a complete dilemma, because with the TM, I was teaching people and I could see their suffering relieved and they're becoming happier through the simple practice of sitting down, closing their eyes and transcending. But at the same time, I was working in casualty in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and I could see people coming in traumatized and through the medical approach ease their suffering. And so I couldn't bring them together until I studied Ayurveda. So Maharishi Ayurveda was a perspective that drew me in because it explained why each of us suffer. And it comes back to what Noel was telling us, that fundamentally we are being. We are transcendence, we are consciousness. And this is the paradigm that Maharishi Ayurveda is bringing to our attention. And so within us is all the information and the intelligence, which is arising from that refined essence of being, in order for us to conceive and construct and to govern and become our bodies, right? And so having done that, our culture and traditions focuses outwardly. And unfortunately, it has to be said, our culture is dominated by a maddening pursuit of wealth, as if that was the means of fulfilling all desires. And yet we see the happiest people are often the poorest, and the wealthiest are often not an inspiration. So what is the cause of suffering? Ayurveda describes, like quantum physics describes, how nature unfolds in layers, in layers and layers. In physics, it will be energy, it will be fine particles, it will be atoms, molecules, tissues, organs, a physical structure. In Ayurveda, Maharishi Ayurveda, it's consciousness at the depth. It unfolds as fine feelings, it unfolds as an intellect, it unfolds as a mind, it unfolds as these 5 dynamics that Noah was talking about, giving rise to the doshas that structure our bodies. So at every level, laws of nature, as they're called in science, which are principles of organization. It's like the rules whereby consciousness must operate to unfold our physiology. So that laws of nature, that intelligence, that information is within. And our fault that causes us suffering is that we've been trained to look out. And in so doing, from childhood, we start to lose the memory, that wonderful inspiration and joy of the child, where they're intuitively in touch with a more profound level. They innocently manifest, express it. And there's such a joy because the field of consciousness is bliss. And so as they grow up, they're trained to look out. We forget who we are. We forget, therefore, all that flow of life from within. And because we lose our memory of the structuring principles of the organizing intelligence within ourselves, we make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we go against our grain. As Noel said, we go out of balance. And the way we know we're out of balance is we suffer. So our suffering is actually due to our lack of insight. And therefore, in all field of Maharishi Ayurveda, the one fundamental is to wake up to that inner being. And the specific technique that has passed down through the most ancient tradition for that purpose is now known as transcendental meditation. There are different forms of meditation for different purposes. There is mindfulness to make you more mindful, which gives you insight as well and helps. There is compassion meditation, which is a much more focused type of meditation. So there are three types of meditation: focused, sort of mindfulness, attentive to something, and the transcendental meditation, which is the innocent process of allowing the awareness to do what the awareness would love to do, which is go back home and have a rest. And in that silence, of that stillness of awareness, to awaken to who you are. Now, this is not an idea. It is not an intellectual concept. It is not a grand theory. This is an experience. And because it is an experience, because it's beyond thought, we have to actually awaken to know, absolutely to know this field. And in so doing, our subtle level of awareness starts to align with that fundamental field and starts to actually process our feelings and then our thoughts and then our speech and then our action in line with all these innate wisdom of organizing principles or laws of nature. So we spontaneously start to compute life in terms of our living, which is in tune with nature, in tune with our needs, in tune with life as a whole. So if all of us, or a good proportion of us, could only wake on that level, this planet would have been secured. The reason this planet is so under threat and there is so much discord and unhappiness in the world is because we've forgotten who and what we are. And that's why I feel in the whole tradition of wisdom of Ayurveda, this most fundamental advice to experience your being, to transcend, is a fundamental, which when people do it, even spontaneously, they start to live life in tune, to go to bed at the right time, to eat the right food, and so forth. It empowers, it motivates. So my number one, and it's a wonderful process of ongoing progressive awakening, of development and becoming more wise and more spiritual as life goes on. Practice transcendental meditation 20 minutes twice a day. I leave that with you. That is what I want you to take away from this course.
Okay, Dr. Brennan, thank you very much for that. So Dr. Brennan there dealt with that most fundamental level of life, which is consciousness, and TM being one of the techniques that allows us to go back and experience that and enliven that. And obviously being in tune with your nature or being awake to your nature is an incredibly important thing. So now Dr. Naheed is going to talk. Actually, I think Dr. Naheed is just muted there. I'll have to unmute her. And Dr. Naheed, hi, Dr. Naheed.
Naheed is still muted.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Naheed, how are you? So I think you're going to cover, you feel a very important thing with Ayurveda is digestion.
Yes. So Ayurveda, there is a saying in Ayurveda that it's not what we eat, it's what we digest. So Ayurveda puts a great emphasis on digestion and our diet as well, because ultimately at the end product of digestion is Oja, which you are going to learn from this course. So what I'll emphasis on, what you can take from this course is that how important our digestion is. So Ayurveda not only Pratani has described about the diet, like what should be the diet, but also how a person should eat. Like I just give you a few examples, and then you'll get to know in detail about the digestion in the lesson 6 from all of us. So there are few examples, like if you have to put at least a 3 hours gap between your meal so that your previous meal gets digested properly and you don't produce any metabolic toxin out of that. You use that food what you have it, and you make good tissues and good urges out of that. So why digestion is so important in Ayurveda? Because digestion, if we say that that's the process in which whatever we eat, it goes under process and our body utilizes that. From the Ayurvedic point of view, when we eat something, we form rasa, the first body tissue. So the more healthy is the rasa, the subsequently all the other tissues will form from rasa. So Rakta, Mangsha, Meda, Majja, and Shukra all will form from that rasa, which is the finest nutrient products out of our digestion. And then we form the ojas, which is our stabilizing force, which is our immunity, which actually just keep us healthy enough and able us to fight with any disease and withstand any circumstances in any crunch situation. And also, I would like you to emphasize that you will get to know about how a vata and a pitta and a kapha person digest their food. How is their digestive capacity? So a vata person mostly have like irregular kind of digestion. The pitta have a very sharp kind of digestion. Kapha have very slow, very sluggish kind of digestion. So what should be your food preferences if you are a vata? What should be your food preferences if you are a pitta? And what should be your food preferences if you are a kapha? What should be the after process when you have your food? Like you need to just sit down, you need to go out for a walk. So why this walk is important? Why it's related to diet? It's because our gut is very well connected to our mind. So when you go for a walk, when you go out, you are relaxing your mind. You are giving a good environment to your entire system to digest your food properly. So all I say that just focus on each lesson, like how a vata, pitta, and kapha body behaves, and how their digestion behaves, and how should they plan their food accordingly. And you might be facing troubles, like you are a vata, your husband is pitta, and maybe your kapha child is kapha. So you don't know how to cook your food properly, like how you manage around like something you are digesting properly and your other family member are not able to do that properly. So you'll get to know in this course how you can plan your diet, how you can do can go very easily around with cooking your food and enjoying your food. So be with us, enjoy the course, and I'll hand over to you, Noel.
Okay, Dr. Naheed. So thanks very much for that. Yes, so that diet and digestion are incredibly important in Ayurveda, because obviously, like, you're rebuilding your body all the time. It's amazing to think that the physical structure that you have, that you're watching this video with now, within 3 years, nearly 100% of that will have been replaced. But in 1 year, 99% of the physical you sitting in the chair there won't be you anymore. It'll have, all the atoms, all the cells will have regenerated themselves. You're creating something like 300 billion new cells every day. That's more stars than there are in the Milky Way. And yet this is happening without your conscious control. It's just all happening in the background. But obviously you need ingredients to make those new cells. And the ingredients is what you breathe and what you eat. So what you take into your body is very, very important. And not only what you take into your body, but the power of your digestion to be able to make the best use of what you're taking in. So even if you are eating good in-season food, but your digestion has been disturbed and is weak, then you're not digesting it properly. It's like taking coal and putting it on a big load of coal and putting it on a fire that's not lit. All it does is put the fire out as opposed to generating more heat. So getting your digestion correct is very, very important in Ayurveda. Having a good fire within the gut so that when you do put food in there, that it gets broken down correctly. And Dr. Naheed mentioned one of the first tissues that comes from the digestion of food, which is rasa. And we're going to be discussing all of those different, how one tissue turns into another tissue, and how it's very important to have strong digestion the whole way along. So we're going to cover that a lot. As Dr. Naheed said, a Kapha person will have a different power of digestion than a Vata person, who will have a different power of digestion than a Pitta person. So you'll discover your nature as we go on with this course, and we'll have lots and lots of tips for people about how to strengthen their digestion if your digestion is weak, and also great tips about the types of foods that you should be eating, both from a seasonal and a daily point of view as well. So thanks very much for that, Dr. Naheed. So we now go to Dr. Rajvinder. I'm sure many of you know Dr. Rajvinder as well. She's been working in the Ayurveda Center since about 2007. She's a very well accomplished Ayurvedic doctor. She's treated thousands of people as well and consulted with thousands of people. And I think, Dr. Rajvinder, your favorite area in this course is going to be around the lifestyle that people should get involved in, and the things that they should do. So maybe you should say a few words about that.
Yes, no, thank you. Well, Ayurveda is, we're going to talk that in detail, is made up of two words, which is Ayu and Veda. So Ayurveda is all the knowledge about your life. So it's a way of living. So it's a path that you walk on. And Ayurveda encourage people to find the balance in their mind, body, and spirit, because they all are connected to each other. As you have heard Dr. Brannin and Dr. Naheed talking about how important the meditation is, how important the food is. So the third aspect of your health is the lifestyle. So Ayurveda has a big wealth of knowledge on the lifestyle. How should we live? So that's how we're going to find ourselves, who we are first, knowing your body type, because your Prakriti your body type respond to any of the change in your diet, any of the change in your environment, any of the change in your habits. And that's how your Vata, Pitta, Kapha is affected with the slight change in the weather, even you feel it yourself. So the way of living, the lifestyle we call in Ayurveda, is very important. So we're going to discuss in our coming courses about the change, how the time change in the day. And there is a 4-hour window for each of the dosha. There's a 4 hour for Vata in the morning, early morning, 4 hours for Kapha, 4 hours for Pitta, and then back to Vata, like that. So understanding that principle, and I would encourage everybody to make one effort. So the word effort, yes, it is a daily effort in the habit that Ayurveda encourages us to make one change, one new things in our daily routine to achieve the perfect balance. So in the morning, for example, if we say 6 to 10 is the Kapha time. So getting up early is one effort in the day. So getting up in the Kapha time of the day and go for a little walk or do your daily Abhyanga to kind of stimulate your body to have a better day, in energetic day, and living a full day of full potential, and living a day of your full potential. So just getting up early in the morning. And then the second window, which is 10 to 2, is the Pitta time of the day, which Ayurveda emphasizes eating your main meal in the middle of the day. And you will be surprised. It is hard in the beginning because we all are so used to work hard during the day and sit down in the evening and have a big meal. But by changing that, your energy levels are better, your blood glucose are better, and your sleep is better when you eat in the middle of the day. And then in the evening, you take it easy, do your kind of more evening TM, and have a light evening meal and go to bed on time. So that's how Ayurveda have divided your day into these 4 hours of window, and there is always a choice to do this particular thing in that hour. So that's what lifestyle is. There's a huge amount of wisdom there, and you can do a lot more. I'm just touching just one little point here. So when you go to Ayurveda physician, they look at you and they tell you about your body type, and they tailor this personal, unique lifestyle for you. And by following this, don't get overwhelmed with so much knowledge, so many different tips. Just do one at a time, and it bring a big change into your body, into your balance, and into your day. So this so I will say, this little effort in your habits on the daily basis, the guidance is this ancient wisdom. We are not guiding you. The guidance comes from the wisdom, which is very ancient, more than 5,000 BC, as you have heard a lot, and still working. and you live a life that is full of health, full of happiness, and you reach your full potential in your life. So this is what Ayurveda lifestyle is about. You tune in with yourself, you get to know yourself, and slowly, you don't need a physician to tell you do this, do that. You get connected to yourself better. And there's a whole lot of research on this circadian rhythm, on the lifestyle, and I think that is the most upcoming lifestyle medicine will be practiced a lot in the coming years. So here you're getting all the wisdom through this wonderful series of lectures through our wonderful doctors and our wonderful Noel, who is guiding all of us. So thank you.
Okay, Dr. Rajvinder, thank you very much. And I think you said something really important there as well, is that people, we've had habits for years, people are different ages and all that, and we've been doing things for a long time. We can't change, and we shouldn't want to change all our habits straight away. It wouldn't make sense. It would be too much on the nervous system. So we change a little thing. If you're used to going to bed at 1 o'clock every day at nighttime, then obviously sleep is so important in Ayurveda, and we know now that sleep is incredibly important. And 1 o'clock is too late at nighttime to be going to bed. You've missed a lot of the healing that can go on during the pitta time in the evening. But you can't suddenly start going to bed at 9:30 if you've been going to bed at 1 o'clock every day. So you bring it back. You bring it back a half an hour, you bring it back an hour. And the same, with your food, you can't suddenly just give up everything that you've been doing. So it's baby steps, it's little steps. But the great thing is when you do make a change, then you begin to feel better, then that encourages you to do more changes. If you try to take it all on in one go, you suddenly realize, oh no, I'm too uncomfortable with this, I can't do this. And then you just stop and you give up and you just go back to your old ways. So it's baby steps, it's little changes. And we have a whole lecture devoted to the cycles within the day, and a healthy daily morning routine with cleaning your mouth and cleaning your tongue. And we'll show you how to do the oil massage and put oil in your nose to help kill viruses that get in there and keep this respiratory area very, very clean. We go through the middle of the day and the importance of your main meal, and then what to do in the afternoon, and then what to do in the evening. So all of these things we will cover in the course as we go on. So that's what we wanted to do today, basically, was give you an introduction to our 3 doctors that are going to guide the lectures. They've outlined 3 main areas that they feel are very important. Dr. Brennan, in relation to enlivening that consciousness through a meditation technique, the one he prefers is transcendental meditation. It's my own personal technique as well, but there are other techniques as well. So we enliven that consciousness through that stillness, through experiencing that stillness, which silence is, we've known from all cultures that to experience stillness is very, very beneficial to people. And then Dr. Naheed talked about the importance of a strong digestion. And we're going to go over that, and we're going to show the things that can knock your digestion out of balance and how important it is to have that strong digestion. And then finally, Dr. Rajvinder talked about, all the lifestyle things that we're going to be talking about throughout this course. So what I want to do now, if you don't mind, is I just want to share our website with you, because there are lots of resources on this website that are going to be very important during this course. So okay, so this is our website here, ayurveda.ie, okay? And I just want to bring your attention to, when you go there, the spelling of Ayurveda, for new people, it's ayurveda.ie. So there's the spelling up there, okay? If you go to this menu option, Ayurveda, there's some great information here for new people, okay? So there is an article about Vata, an article about Pitta, and an article about Kapha. So you can read up about these 3 doshas. There's an introduction which tells you the importance of the doshas, and then there's an actual body type test that you can do yourself. So you can get an idea, or begin to get an idea. I wouldn't say it's 100% perfect and it changes as people go on, but you can begin to get an idea of what your dosha is, So you can do that body type test, and so you get some idea of where we're going with this. And so all of those things between now and the next class, which will be on Thursday, maybe if you get a chance, you can go take a look at that. The other thing I want to bring you to is our YouTube channel, because this is where we're going to be putting up the repeats of the courses if you missed them. And we have a wealth of knowledge up on this YouTube channel. There are lots of videos on different topics, so you can scan down through this. I will be referring throughout the course to different videos that we will want you to watch. Like there are cookery course videos here, There are, you know, videos about the change of season. There's one, how to make an immunity boosting tea with Dr. Rajvinder. Another one, how to make ginger juice. There's some there about cooking. And then later on down, Dr. Brennan has lots of small videos about different topics that may be afflicting people. So this is a huge resource for knowledge. And as I say, this is where we're going to put up our Ayurveda courses. But you get to that very easily just from our website, just down here, you visit our YouTube channel. So that's what I wanted to show you there. This Ayurveda menu where you can start getting a lot of information about Vata Pitta Kapha, and then also the link to our YouTube channel. So that's it. That's what we wanted to cover today. So what we're going to do now, and what we always do in these courses, is we have a Q&A. And what we'll do in this is we will take preference to questions in relation to the topics that we've covered today. So if there's anything in this video that you want to ask about, then please feel free to go ahead and ask. As usual, we'll try to answer any question regardless of what it's about. But obviously, we'll just give preference to questions about the topics that were covered today. But our doctors are here to answer those questions. So we'll hand over and we'll start our Q&A now.
Well, can I just by saying that, you know, when I did finally train in Maharishi Ayurveda, there was a lot of resistance to the whole concepts, and the inevitable question was, show me the evidence, you know? And it was lovely to hear Dr. Rajvinder point out towards the end of our talk how everything that we're now saying and have been saying and has been said for the past thousands of years in Ayurveda is increasingly evidence-based. The evidence is, you know, so powerful that anybody who denies these suggestions that we're giving to you is just closed-minded, actually, and refusing to take responsibility. And our challenge to you is that, you know, when you hear the suggestions, that you actually take responsibility, because what will heal is you learning how to love yourself and listen to your own needs and integrate these suggestions, because you will feel better, you will be healthier, you'll prevent a lot of diseases, you may even heal what problems you have. And so we can only give you the information and encourage and motivate you as best we can. And so we hope you enjoy the course, and I'll hand you back to Noel to get your questions, which we're always looking forward to hearing.
No, that's great, Don. Thanks very much for pointing that out, because it is becoming more and more increasingly evidence-based. And, you know, one of the things that we really enjoy is getting testimonials back from people. And we have, you know, so many of them for people who have done these courses, who have made lifestyle changes, who maybe have had a consultation with a doctor, started to adapt some of these things. And they've seen chronic conditions that they've lived with for years and years and years, begin to reverse and begin to ease, and their lives becoming healthier and happier. And that's the proof of the pudding. It's in the tasting. So you make these changes. Nobody's going to continue with these changes unless they're seeing benefits. So you make these changes in your life, and then you start to see the improvement, and you start to feel better, and you start to feel healthier, and you start to feel happier. And when you feel all those things, you don't want to feel any other way. That's the great thing about it, because it's great to feel healthy and happy, and you simply don't want to feel any other way. And then that encourages you to do the correct things. And it's not a matter of hardship to do the correct things. It's just a matter that you actually want to do the correct things. Okay, so that's fantastic. So we'll start our Q&A now. So I see some questions coming in there, doctor. So if you want to start answering them. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome along.
Oh, just hang on a second.
For our 6th lesson in our Ayurveda course. And
sorry, just hang on a second.
Lesson, I mean, we've
covered Vata Pitta Kapha very much. Okay. Okay, everybody. So I'll unmute Dr. Naheed. Dr. Naheed, just say something there.
Hi.
You're on. Unmute Dr. Oh, Dr. Brennan jumped there. Dr. Rajvinder.
Yes, thank you.
And Dr. Brennan is gone somewhere. His camera's disappeared. But anyway,
I'm not gone anywhere.
Are you not? Your camera's switched off. All we see is your name. We're missing your beauty. Oh, there you are now. There you are now. Good man. Okay, everybody. So
let's look.
Yeah, so that was our introduction to Ayurveda, and as we said, we're going to be covering those 3 main doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Our next 3 lessons are concentrating specifically on each of those doshas. And then we have a lesson on the rhythms of nature that Dr. Rajvinder talked about. And finally, our last lesson is about digestion, which is a really important lesson. And we have a lot to go through in those, but I would ask you to go and look at the website in between the lectures and read up a little bit more about it, because the more you read about it and the more you hear about it, the more it ingrains the thing into your awareness, you know. So I'm sure there's lots of I'm sure
what I find interesting though, just looking at the chats as they come in, what I'm really loving actually is that there are some here, as always, who have done our courses before, and some have done them many times, because with Ayurveda, the repetition is fantastic. You always pick up more. But those people are coming in and answering beautifully some of the questions. And Vatsala's comment, you know, talking about just one change that Dr. Rajvinder mentioned, main meal midday. Well, Vatsala's done it. And her comment is she feels fantastic. And then there was another beautiful comment as well. And Deirdre has said she gets up at 6 instead of 8, 9, or 10 now. And she said, what a difference. Now, that's the fascinating thing. You know, the change might be minuscule, really, when you think about it. But my God, the difference, because suddenly we've come aligned with what is natural and right for us. And suddenly we feel the benefit. This is Ayurveda, because Ayurveda really is that innate wisdom, the knowledge of life. When we cooperate with it, what we experience is joy, well-being. And that's how we know we're doing the right things. So our course is really to bring you joy, health, energy. But, you know, you must take responsibility. You cannot take your health for granted. It's a responsibility. You have to work at it, I'm afraid. But working at it repays. Your dividends are just fantastic. So don't get concerned about the strange terms of doshas, vata, pitta, kapha, tissues, rasa, rakta, mamsa. We're only throwing these out so you start to hear them. And with the repetition over the course, you'll become so proficient in them, you know, that you'll just know them. And so just take it very easy. It dawns on you increasingly what we're talking about as the course goes on. Today's an introduction, as Noel said, vata and pitta and kapha. So you begin to understand your nature better and how to handle it over the next 3 talks. And then the last 2 are dwelling again on digestion, because it's so significant. And then it goes through the daily routine and the seasonal routines and how to live in tune through your routine with your nature. So be patient, but stay with us, and you'll really enjoy the course, and you'll really benefit if you listen to it. So I should hand over to
Dr. Brennan. While you're there, somebody asked where you can find the evidence that you mentioned. Can you?
Where can you find evidence that you mentioned? It is accumulating at a massive rate at the moment. So what you can do is you can just look up lifestyle medicine. So if you look up lifestyle medicine, and certainly if you get a general introductory book about it, you'll get, you know, so much evidence. Take your sleep. You know, that we say go to bed at 10, get up at 6. The evidence is now there that the first 4 hours of your sleep is up to 70, 90% of your deep sleep, which is totally restorative. So that's the physical side. Ayurveda would say this is the pitta time of life in which the body and mind are restored. And then from 2 until 6, most of the dreaming happens. The dreaming is mind side. It's to do with memory, integration of knowledge, and actually solution of problems. And that is, both of those are time-based. If you go to bed later than 10, you start to miss out on deep sleep. If you get up earlier than 6, you lose out on dreaming. So that's just an example of the accumulating masses of evidence, which is actually supportive. Ayurveda talks about finishing your evening meal at 7 and not eating again until morning. And now we're all talking about intermittent fasting, all the evidence accumulating for the benefit of a long overnight fast. So, you know, even the evidence is suggestive that the main meal in the middle of the day is healthier. So that evidence is just accumulating. The best introduction would be an introduction on lifestyle medicine. They're available now.
Okay, and I think the importance of sleep is in no doubt. Actually, it's so important now. I think there's a World Sleep Day. I can't remember. Last year, I think it was sometime in June. So the recognition of the power of sleep, and we know people who have to work nights and stuff like that, they're more prone to diseases and sicknesses and things like that. So sleep in Ayurveda has always been, you know, early to bed, early to rise. It's one of the oldest sayings in the world, you know, but now the evidence is showing the value of that, as Dr. Brennan is saying, like for purification of the body by being in bed early, and then the dreaming to balance out the mind. So you read a book recently, Dr. Brennan, on it though, on lifestyle medicine, did you? Yeah, I think you mentioned to me a while back, yeah.
No, it's gone to the extent now that the College of Surgeons in Ireland, which is, you know, one of the foremost medical colleges, even globally, it has established a center for positive psychology and health. They're actually currently doing a program, and they've over 20,000 that have just applied for this free 10-lesson course that they're doing online. And they're just ramming out the evidence about how through simple measures we can greatly improve our mental health and our physical health. It's about positive health. So it's just an indication of where medicine is now moving. This is a movement, lifestyle medicine, that is beginning to get into the medical field. Medical colleges are starting to take an interest because of the evidence, the growing evidence base for the simple measures that promote health.
Yeah, I think Patrick Halford has a book called Food is Better Than Medicine. And actually, he quotes quite a lot of research in that book as well, you know. And I'm sure there's lots and lots of different literature that's out there if people want to go looking for it, you know.
I'll see if I can find a book while we're online, while you're answering the questions. I'll see if I can find a book about lifestyle medicine for you.
Dr. Naheed, you got muted there, did you?
Yeah.
Is there any questions you want?
I take some of the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I take few questions and then I'll hand over to other doctor. So the first question is that can our body type can change with time, or maybe when we are a teenager or when we are in older age? So our body type which we born in, so suppose if I am a vata or pitta, I am born with a body type with vata pitta, that will remain. But yes, definitely my body type is going to get influenced with the environment I'm living in, with the diet I am eating, and with the lifestyle I am following. So suppose all your life, when you were a kid, you were having your digestion perfectly, your motions perfectly. But suppose you move to a country which is more dry, which is more cold, and you start having symptoms like constipation and indigestion. So it's not because because of you are a vata or like you are a pitta. It's because of the change in the weather. I hope I make a sense over here, giving an example. And I take another question, that can we have breakfast before doing all our morning rituals? So Ayurveda has not advised to take breakfast before doing your morning rituals. So you follow your morning rituals and have your breakfast when you're hungry. So if you think that you're hungry before completing your rituals, so start a bit early so that you finish your rituals early, and then you can have your breakfast.
Mary said that she's doing RCSI program, which is totally support what we are saying. Somebody else said, what is RCSI? RCSI is Royal College of Surgeons Ireland. I think they're supporting the lifestyle medicine.
Yeah, that's of course Dr. Brennan mentioned. Yeah.
So somebody's doing it.
There's a book called Lifestyle Medicine by Gary Egger, E-G-G-E-R.
I actually had a
Gary Egger, Lifestyle Medicine, and that was published in 2017.
There is a book on Ayurveda research. That's why I went to see it. I cannot find it where I put it, but there is a book on the Ayurveda research as well. But there is more. Ayush department is trying to set up, the Ayush is Indian government for Ayurveda, trying to set up a research for Ayurveda so that everything is properly documented and all. So that's the little bit of kind of gap there.
People were asking about what is TM. TM is, I mentioned there are 3 types of meditation where you make a great effort and focus, or where you are a little bit more relaxed, observing and attending to something. That's mindfulness. But the TM is totally without effort. It's the easiest to do because in reality, the mind itself would love a rest. And all we need to do is give it the circumstances and it settles within. And so it's like the difference between attending to something with concentration on the surface or being mindful of something going on at the surface, or with the TM, it's different because it's diving within. It's going to quieter levels of the mind, quieter levels. But it's a technique that's learned in a traditional fashion. There's a course, and if you're interested, the website will be www.tm.uk.org or www.tm.ireland.org or wherever you are, www.tm.whereveryouare.org. And there will be information and your local centers and teaching. You can find it out there. And it's part of Ayurveda because Ayurveda is operating from the depth, and that's the way we access the depth. But it has been lost in practice in many situations in Ayurveda. So we often mention Ayurveda and we often say Maharishi Ayurveda because Maharishi revived very much the tradition of meditation as an aspect of health and healing and globalized that concept so that nowadays so many people are meditating and they don't realize that it was the research on TM, which was triggered by the man Maharishi Mahesh Yogi who brought all this out, that brought about this sudden surge of interest in the whole field of meditation.
There's a nice quote from Rowena. She said she read a great quote. It said, "Eat food as your medicine, or you will end up eating medicine as your food." So I like that. And you know, food is medicine. Is let food be your medicine. It's one of the earliest statements that there is in healthcare, really. You know, but it's actually been lost. But it's coming back now with a great strength, which is a great thing. And the interest that, you know, the interest in growing food in Ireland, I'm not sure about other countries. I'm sure maybe it's the same in the UK, but since COVID came in, the lockdown, the actual interest in growing food, it's a massive growth industry. And there's all these different programs going on, encouraging people to grow food in their gardens and, you know, organic farms and all these, and people growing organic food seasonally. It's fantastic changes, fantastic thing to see. When I was a child, actually, our father, he didn't grow all our food, but we always had a vegetable garden, always had a vegetable garden. And it's great to see that's coming back now, you know.
So,
He's asking.
Yeah, go ahead, Raj.
Thank you. She's asking how to do Abhyanga. She said she moisturized herself, so I presume it's different. Yes, Mary. Abhyanga, first thing is you're allowing yourself maybe 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. And doing it as a ritual rather than doing it as a moisturizing. It's a wonderful grounding technique. So you warm up the sesame oil. Why sesame oil? Because it is good for all the 3 body types. And black sesame seed oil is different from the massage sesame seed. There's a procedure called cured, so it doesn't smell strong sesame, because otherwise you don't want to be walking around like a Chinese takeaway. So yeah, the sesame oil for massage is different. So mainly it's long strokes over your muscles and circles over your joints. So if you have time, you can spend a bit more time. So you start from your face, you can massage your hair if you're washing, otherwise no oil on this part, and then go on your arms, on your chest, on your clockwise movement on the tummy, and legs upward towards your heart, on the back, wherever you can reach. So it's just a kind of a sequence you follow. And you leave it on for 20 minutes if possible, do your other things and wash it off. So that's the procedure. That's what we teach. So hope it's more clear to you. But I think we will be talking about it in the coming lectures anyway.
Abhyanga is fantastic for settling Vata, for Vata people. So people, and there's so much Vata in society nowadays. I would say it's the main thing that people have concerns about. So anxiety and insomnia and very quick moving mind and all of these are all Vata. And Vata is very light. It's air and space. So think of the qualities of air and space, and then think of the qualities of warm oil. Completely the opposite, completely settling. So we go long strokes on the bones and around on the joints, just a little bit of oil, not a huge amount of oil that's warm. And make sure your bathroom is warm, especially if you're a Vata type of person. Very thin, very quick moving mind. So make sure your bathroom's nice and warm, heat up the oil, and long strokes on the bones and then round on the joints, and your whole body. You can do your hair, you can do it everywhere. You can put sesame oil in your mouth as well, which is called oil pulling, which we talk about in one of the other lectures. And you cover your whole body, your feet, everywhere, and then you leave the oil to soak in. But not only does the oil soak in and nourish the body, it also draws out toxins from the skin. So it's very important we wash it off. We don't want to be carrying those toxins around with us. They've been drawn out, so we wash it off. So we have a shower or a bath 10, 15, 20 minutes after we do the Abhyanga. And it's very, very settling for Vata people. Very, very settling. So it's a great, great thing to do, especially, as I say, if you're very Vata, very flighty, worrying, insomnia, all those things. This Abhyanga is a very good thing for that, you know.
And no, to add to that, you know, Vata is the most powerful of the three. It motivates and moves everything in mind and body. And so when Vata is balanced, everything is that bit better balanced. But the best substance in the universe, actually, to balance Vata is sesame seed oil. But you can't drink a pint of that every day. It's very hard to digest oils. So we don't take them by mouth. The fascinating thing is when you apply oil to your skin, because oil itself, skin itself is made of oil and protein, the oil is absorbed. The skin may repel water, but it absorbs oils. So now, effortlessly, the oil is in your tissues. Your body is made of oil, fat, and protein. All your cells made of fat and protein. But your brain is 70% oil in its structure. And that is very much to do with the mind. And so the brain actually gets incredible nourishment out of this, which leaves you more relaxed, integrated in your brain through the day. But an interesting thing is that the brain and the skin, they evolved together. The little bundle of cells that you initially wear after conception formed three layers, and the outside layer was ectoderm, eventually developed into your skin and your nervous system. There's huge connection here. I mean, anywhere there's so many nerves from the skin connect back to the nervous system, that just massaging integrates the functioning of the nervous system. But not just that, if you take it from a subtler value, we communicate love through touch. And this was amazingly illustrated in the case of prem babies in intensive care. The prem baby was in the machines to keep them alive and to sort of nourish them in every way. And someone had the idea to do a bit of research, and they just went in twice a day and massaged the tiny, tiny little prem. And the consequence of that loving touch was that the prem babies got out of hospital 2 weeks earlier. So touch is terribly important. It's to do with feeling. And you should learn how to love your physiology, and giving yourself a massage, your body will get an awful fright. It's like your body will suddenly think, after all these years, she loves me.
Barbara is smiling. Barbara, probably you're doing it every day, huh?
Yeah, there's people putting comments in there, and someone saying, is it a morning thing only? Yeah, I think you could do an Abhyanga. If you didn't get a chance to do it in the morning, you could do it in the evening. It would be actually massage the soles of your feet at nighttime. If you're finding it difficult to get to sleep, just do the soles of your feet at nighttime with sesame oil before you go to bed, and then wipe them with a cloth, obviously, because there'll be oil there, you know. And
the lady with plantar fasciitis would do very well to massage her feet, particularly with a joint soothe oil that is available from the website. If you put it into the search box, so that massage with joint soothe oil would be very good.
Okay, so there's Francis Jones, a case in point. I recently decided to try the oil massage as you described, and it's truly settling and lovely. It's a fantastic thing. And then, you know, if you can have a bath after it, it's even nicer, you know, or have a shower and have some nice essential oils in the bathroom for the senses. And it's just a lovely, lovely thing to do, you know. And someone said, what's the best time to wake up at? Well, you know, you're just going to wake up when you wake up. Ayurveda wouldn't believe in using alarm clocks or anything like that, you know. So it depends on your habits. It depends on what habits you've formed over the time. But as you come into balance, like if you're going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can't be going to bed at 1 o'clock at night. I mean, that's not enough. That's only 5 hours, you know. So that's not going to be good for you. So you need to be going early to bed, early to rise is the ideal situation. So really, we need to be in bed by 10 or half 10, around that time. And then if you're in bed at 10 or half 10 and you go to sleep, you have the ability to go to sleep very quickly. There won't be any issue getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely no issue getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And you ask anybody who does get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, not because they're forced to, but because they want to, it's the nicest time of the day. It's one of the nicest times of the day. Someone said, can you do a walk after an Abhyanga? That's an ideal thing to do. Do your Abhyanga, put your tracksuit on, put your coat on, go out for a walk in the morning air. It's just beautiful. There's a completely different atmosphere, a completely different feeling in the environment early in the morning. When a new day, new dawn, new possibilities, it's just a glorious, glorious time of the day. Unfortunately, most people are either sleeping through it or they're, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not happy about the fact that they have to get up at that time. They're resentful of the fact that they have to get up at that time. But when you're living in tune, you'll just get up, you'll just wake up. Don't use an alarm clock. Alarm clocks are not good. They're just disturbing. You'll just naturally wake up, and you wake up, you get up and you do your morning routine, and you have lots of time to do all these things then. There's no panic or there's no rush, you know.
And Katrina asked, do all doshas get up at 6? Yes, Katrina, even you.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's suitable to everybody. But we're not suggesting that if you've been getting up at 10 o'clock every day, that tomorrow that you need to get up at 6. It's too much of a change. What we are suggesting is you bring it back a little bit. You go to bed a little bit earlier, you bring it back a little bit. You have to get control of your sleep. If you want to be healthy, you have to be sleeping properly. What happens when you sleep? There's a video I suggest you all look at. It's a half-hour long by Dr. Brennan on the power of sleep. It's on the YouTube channel that I showed you there earlier on. It's unbelievable what happens when you sleep. Like all the power of emotions. If you're someone where things cut real deep into you, if you have an argument with somebody and you're hanging on to it a week later or 2 weeks later and you're resentful of that and you can't let go, that's probably because you're not getting proper sleep. Because when you get good sleep and you do the dreaming, you integrate that into your physiology and then it doesn't affect you so much. So just even things like that, but never mind that, there's so many other things, detoxification, digestion, all of these things. It's really, really important that we sleep well. So that's one of the things you've got to get control of. So go and look at that video. If you suffer from insomnia, and many, many people do, go and look on our YouTube channel. It's a free video. It's a half-hour long where Dr. Brennan discusses the importance of sleep, and not only the importance of it, but how to get it, how to start bringing yourself into balance to get that good night's sleep.
And Naheed, have you got an answer to a question there? Because we're not letting the ladies in at all today for some reason.
Very quiet.
I pick two questions which are related to each other. So there is one question about pain management in Ayurveda, and the other question is Ayurveda good for osteoarthritis? So before I tell the remedies, I would like to inform you all that we have done a whole webinar on just painful conditions like different kinds of arthritis. So maybe there will be a replay of that very soon. Noel can inform you about that, and you can just subscribe and you can just look into the webinar for the detailed information. But for now on, I'll tell osteoarthritis and a pain is a Vata condition. So if you are dealing with a chronic painful condition, you need to focus on balancing your Vata and also digesting on digestion of your food properly, because if you have too much of ama in your body, that can also lead to pain, aches and pains in different body parts. For managing Vata, the best things are you do a oil massage, you do pranayama, which is the breathing exercises, and any kind of meditation which you are comfortable with, and try to digest your food properly. Add spices like ginger, cumin. Turmeric is very anti-inflammatory and it reduces pain as well. So you can try all the spices in your diet and maybe your pain will reduce. But I would suggest try to have a consultation with any of the doctor so that they can give you a tailor-made advice based on which part is aching and which part has pain.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we did a whole webinar on various different forms of arthritis. It's actually on our website, but we might do a replay of it at some stage as well, so people could join in, you know.
And Rajvinder, I'm sure you have a question or two for us. Thanks.
Thank you. Someone want to talk about IBS. Well, it's a kind of a very much disturbed Vata condition. So this is an imbalanced Vata. That could be because of irregular eating too late, or you're not.
Irritable bowel syndrome. So people know what you're talking about. IBS.
Sorry, okay. IBS is the irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah. So that is, it's sometimes constipation, sometimes diarrhea, bloating in the tummy, could be a lot of wind and all that issues. Okay. So first thing, as gut and mind have a great connection. So IBS and anxiety go hands in hand. So we need to address that if that's there. And it's a pure Vata condition. So looking into Vata diet, Vata lifestyle is very, very helpful. There are lovely, wonderful Ayurveda herbs available. So if it's going on for a while, if it's only a new thing, I would say you listen to more Vata and see if you can adapt some of the advices, or consider talking to one of the doctor. They will tailor the diet and lifestyle for you and recommend some herbs in the beginning. But it is definitely manageable with Ayurveda, or with a couple of months, you will be fine. And I picked one more question, but I forgot now. Somebody was asking about kapha. Is the coconut oil is better about the oil pulling, or is it sesame? Sesame is a rich source of calcium. And if it's a gum kind of a calcium issue, then sesame oil is much better. But if you have any infection going on in the mouth, gum infection or anything, then coconut oil is better because it's more antibacterial and more cooling property. So for in general, for kapha, yeah, sesame will be more better because of the warming quality of the sesame oil for kaphas.
Nabanita Das asks, is there a certification that we can roll for an Ayurveda from our institute? Not at the moment, actually. This course now that we do is just for self-knowledge. It's purely for yourself. It's not going to qualify you to do Ayurvedic consultations or offer Ayurvedic lifestyle to anybody else. It's a self-knowledge thing. So to, you know, in order to practice Ayurveda, well, I mean, the doctors that we have on at the moment, well, Dr. Brennan's a medical doctor as well as having done an MSc in Ayurveda and trained in Ayurveda in India. In India, the Dr. Rajvinder and Dr. Nahid, I mean, their course is a 6-year course. It's a degree course, a BAMS, Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery, you know. So, so that's quite a commitment for anybody really to do. There are courses that you can do. There's one in County Clare. I think it's a 2-year online course. And there are other ones in the UK. Certainly it's something we're very interested in doing is doing a certified course where people can get insured to do some level of practice. But it's not quite there yet, but it's something that we're definitely going to look at, all right. But when we do have that together, we will let people know, because at this stage we feel there's probably a lot of people very interested in that, you know.
For new people,
Go ahead, Ravindra.
some people are asking about their body types. I think there are new people here. So on the website ayurveda.ai, there is a dosha test. So dosha is like a body type word for body type. So there are questions. So be honest when you answer them, or ask your family member to answer for you. And whichever is the maximum score, if Vata is like 8 and Pitta is like 5 or Kapha is 3, so you will be considered as a Vata Pitta person. So yeah, you can take that test online. So, and there's a lot of other free body tests on the Google anyway, but
yeah, and do the test at the beginning of the course, at the end of the course, and you'll probably score differently. But, you know, we're going to be doing a lecture on Vata. Our next on Thursday night is on Vata. So you're going to have a much deeper understanding of the qualities of Vata by the time we finish that, and really do the 3 lessons. And then you'll have a much better idea of where you fit in that, you know.
And we'll be covering how the body changes over the phases of life, so that it does actually to some extent change, though basic nature remains in place. But that'll be covered. Thomas Kelly, you've tried everything for this fungal itch. And the interesting thing is it's a very medical paradigm you're working in, because you're trying to treat the symptom. Whereas what Ayurveda would say, this fungal itch is because you have accumulated an imbalance. An imbalance in kapha mostly. Your skin is an excretory organ. So your body is trying to cast out through the skin, but the skin's immune system is getting weakened by the process, and a fungal infection gets involved. So you need to sort out your digestion, your metabolism, and clear some toxins from your body as the underlying mechanism for healing. as opposed to merely finding some little symptomatic treatment. So that's, I suppose, an indication of the slight difference of approaches between medicine and Ayurveda.
Someone asked about fibromyalgia. It's a very, very Vata thing. So everything that balances Vata will help with fibromyalgia as well. Anyway, we're getting very close to the end here. I don't know if any of the doctors have anything there that's just jumping out at them that they'd like to.
People are asking about very complicated conditions like fibromyalgia or MS and gallstones. They are very complicated issues. So I don't think we can answer here. But yeah.
No, that's a great point, Dr. Rajvinder. This is a knowledge course on Ayurveda. It's not a personal consultation. You know, we don't mind people asking questions so that they have a general idea, because Ayurveda has a solution to bear to bring on everything. Because as I said in the introductory video there, every disease is associated with an imbalance of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, you know. But really, if you have a very serious condition, you shouldn't be looking for the answers for it just in these little videos. Really, this will give you a taste for Ayurveda, and if you feel you want to go further with Ayurveda, and then if you feel that if it resonates with you and if it makes sense to you and you think you want to learn more about it, then really the thing to do is have a consultation with a doctor. Because as I said also, it's not one size fits all. It's an individual size for everybody, and the doctors are trained to be able to, you know, look very deeply into these things and then decide what's the best path for you to go on, you know. So in some ways it would be a little irresponsible for us to be saying to people, well, this is how you can get rid of your fibromyalgia, because it's not that simple, you know. But you know, from an Ayurvedic perspective, it's a Vata disorder, it's a Vata dysfunction, and things that balance Vata will help to balance it, you know.
And it may be a little bit slow in the healing with Ayurveda, but it is possible to heal it. That's the point.
Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey, and you need a lot more tailored advice. What we are talking here is a very general advice. And if we even talk about a herb, you don't take it straight, consult the doctor, ask first that is it safe for you to take, because everybody responds differently to the things. And somebody asked, what is the Cushing syndrome? I think that is very high Vata condition. So that need a lot of Vata balancing. So start the self-massage first. I think that's the tip for the day for Cushing syndrome.
Yeah, I mean, generally it takes years of hard work to make yourself sick. It's very simple to be healthy. We just eat well, we exercise, we do stress management, we sleep well, all simple things to be sleep, but people just don't live that way. And for over years and years and years, we ingrain these imbalances in us. We're not going to write those things in a week. You're not going to take some herb and suddenly everything's great, you know. It's a journey. And the more ingrained the disease is, the longer and the more you have to work at it to bring it back. But Ayurveda is not working on the symptoms. It never treating a symptom. It's treating the person. It's treating the individual. It's treating the person. The symptoms are symptomatic of an imbalance. It's the imbalance. It's what's causing the imbalance that Ayurveda is trying to get at. So if you're looking for a pill for a nil, you're in the wrong place. Okay, you're in the wrong place for a pill for a nil. If you're looking for lifestyle changes and knowledge and understanding and all of these things to redress your problems and bring you into perfect health, then you're in the right place. But it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to make changes. Actually, the only person that's responsible for your health is you. Nobody else. And you shouldn't put your health into the hands of somebody else. It's you. You're responsible for your health. But this is giving you the knowledge. Ayurveda is giving you the knowledge to take control of your health and make the decisions. But as Dr. Rajvinder says, it's not just a simple quick fix. It can take some amount of time. And that's just being honest with you, because we don't want people, new people to this course thinking, well, I'll do a little bit of Ayurveda and all my problems will be finished in a week. It doesn't work that way. We have to work.
We all are doing, 3 of us, online consultations. Somebody's asking. So the details are on the website to whoever you want to contact. Their emails are on the website. I think Noel pointed toward the website. I think Dr. Nai, Dr. Dawn could be booked online, and I have my phone number there. So I think Amit was asking, you can book a consultation. It's online at the moment. So go on the website for more details.
Yeah, there's only online consultations. There's no in-person consultations at the moment. Okay, we've come to
I think PodTech, bringing us back to some really practical stuff, raises issues about digestion. If you want to have the main meal in the middle of the day and you're not hungry, what do you do? Well, the first thing you do in Ayurveda is you get back in touch with your appetite, and you learn to let that guide you rather than you tell your stomach what to do. Because if you're not coming to your main meal in the middle of the day hungry, you've got a big problem. You've had too much breakfast. And breakfast is not a time for a big meal because your body's only waking up. So it's simple things like this, which actually takes a bigger picture than merely intellectually deciding I must have a meal at this time, but actually intuitively growing in awareness that what is the right regime for you, and other questions in relation to that coming through is it's different for different doshas. Kapha people don't have an appetite till lunchtime, they shouldn't have a breakfast. Pitta people are always hungry, so they better have a breakfast or they'll eat you. And Vata, the Vata has to eat little and often. So it's different strokes for different folks, and that's why there are no rules. But there is a wonderful wisdom within you that you can use us to reflect back to you through the knowledge of Ayurveda.
Perfect. Well said, Dr. Brennan. Okay, we're going to draw to a close. What I'll do is I'll post this video up on YouTube tomorrow. I'll send you all a link so that you can review it. I'd like you...
Naheed is trying to get in and saying something, and we're not hearing her.
Go ahead.
One question.
Yeah.
Just one question. So there's a question about any advice from Ayurveda for muscle twitching around the eye and eye strain. So that's a very Vata condition. And soon we are going to do a webinar on eye care and nose care, like, all the ENT and the skin care. So maybe if you want to know more, you can join with us and you can register for that.
I am looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to it, Naheed.
That's going to be on the 19th of April. We're going to be doing that particular webinar, so we'll keep people informed of that.
Dr. Naheed will be doing that one.
Yeah, Dr. Naheed is
very knowledgeable.
Yeah, she'll be doing that. Okay, everybody, that's fantastic. Look out for the link. I'll send a review of this tomorrow. The Zoom link for the next talk on Thursday, I'll send it out on Thursday morning. Check by lunchtime. If you don't have it by lunchtime, drop me an email and I'll send you a copy of it. If you're registered with the correct email address, you'll have got it. So look for it. It's in your spam folder. It's in your promotions folder. It's somewhere. Add me, noel@ayurveda.ie to your contacts and it'll just end up in your inbox. So a big thank you, especially to Dr. Naheed for coming on and staying up late and going against all our Ayurvedic principles to share her knowledge with us.
I don't think people recognize or realize that she's half Irish, in the sense that we had her for a little while and she was part of our team. She worked down in Cork. She was just getting nicely underway in her practice, and she had to get back to India, which was very unfortunate for us and for Ireland and for Naheed. But as things get sorted, we're hoping she's back soon. We live in hope.
Yeah, but Dr. Naheed is still doing consultations. That's the beauty of the internet. She's still part of our team. She's still doing consultations. You can book her online. Okay. So yeah, so it's all there. It's just with the internet these days, doesn't really matter where you are, really, does it? That's the great thing about it. You could be anywhere. I'm in my living room in Drogheda and we're talking to people all over the world. So that's the fantastic thing about it. Okay, everybody, fantastic. We had we'd over 360 people on and we kept most of them for the whole talk. So that's great. People are obviously interested in what we're saying. So the numbers are dropping now. But anyway, I'll say namaste to everybody. A big thank you to our doctors for coming along. A big thank you to all the new people who joined us this evening. Thank you, Dr. Rajvinder. Thank you, Dr. Naheed. Thank you, Dr. Brennan.
Thank you, Noel.
We will
organizing all of this.
We will see everybody on Thursday at 7:30. Okay, everybody. Goodbye. Take care.
Bye.
Early to bed, early to rise. Goodbye.